how long do you think it's going to take for Rodgers and the Packers to look like themselves again?
Well, Jay mentioned, I mentioned Detroit. Detroit. This is the next outing. And you've had the practices in training camp. You've had the Saints game. You've had the practices leading up to the Saints game. The practices now leading up to the Detroit game. And Detroit should be a scrimmage for you.
Right.
You are a much better team than Detroit. And you should take care of business against the Lions. Because looking ahead, you go to San Francisco, and San Francisco owns you over the last couple times. So you want to be prepared when you go to San Francisco.
And you got the Steelers defense coming at you.
So you want to be prepared that you use the Lions game as a tune-up for the 49ers.
You know what's so funny? It's crazy. I'm looking at the Green Bay schedule. It's so funny how strength of schedule changes depending on what you think of your own team. Like, the Packers are coming off a bad performance. All of a sudden, that schedule looks kind of tough. Whereas if they look dominant, you'd be like, oh, Bengals, they got that. At Bears, no problem. Washington doesn't have a quarterback. They should beat the – but all of a sudden, looking like that, you look at that and you go, uh-oh.
Well, you also got to think about the opponents that they face coming down the stretch, right, that they get ready to play. The Steelers won. The 49ers won.
Yeah, they look good.
The Bengals won.
Yeah.
So if you put up that schedule next week and
you feel different.
Steelers lose to the Raiders, Bengals lose, now and they win, that strength of schedule is going to shift and change in their favor.
Jay, as a fan, I feel that 100%. Based week to week, the sense of how strong that schedule is not just dependent upon what the other team does, but how the team I'm looking at just the week they came off.
Yeah, look, I think Detroit allows them to bounce back, just like Key said. One of the things that
Poor Detroit.
that's how
they got worse at quarterback.
Detroit. It is this kind of narrative that has happened between Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers, even though I agree with what Aaron Rodgers said after the game when he kind of gave his breakdown about why they didn't come out and play well. I still go back to the tone, guys. Like it still felt to me, even though he was accurate, that he was kind of throwing shade at the coaching staff and the game plan, which deserves that though, Key. But that's like a compound theory though. After everything that's happened this summer, even if you do bounce back versus Detroit, if you lose on the road to the 49ers, and then all of a sudden you struggle again against the Steelers, and their pass rush is great, which gave Aaron Rodgers some issues that we saw.
1-3 not gonna feel good.
Like,
guys,
if they get up to a 1-3 start, that's going to be.
Let's not rush past Detroit for a second. Based on what we're talking about, and based on the fact that those are losable games, the next two games. Talk about a must-win. They're in a week 2 must-win. The Packers.
That's what I said. 1-3 wouldn't feel good if you drop 2 in a row, the Niners and the Steelers. This ain't gonna feel good.
0-4 would feel worse. Like, you got to beat the Lions at home.
Yeah,
I think everybody feels like we know they're going to beat the Lions.
Yeah, I think
if they lose to the Lions, that's panic meter 1,000.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
I think they'll beat them.
Okay.
I wonder
see,
what their favorite. How much
panic meter 1,000 if they lose to the Lions. We're all on the same page. But now I hear Key talk about, I think they'll beat them.
Yeah,
Me too. I think they'll beat them.
I don't have a problem.
I think.
Yeah, I think they should.
But what if it took more than this extra week to get Rodgers and everybody up to speed on the same page?
Then they got some internal issues going on.
Ooh.
I mean, you talk about defensively giving up 35 points, allowing Jameis Winston to do certain things.
Got a new defensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm. New defensive coordinator in Joe Barry, one of my former teammates, coaches with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, know Joe very, very well.
But Key, it's not like he's had a lot of success doing this at this point. I know you know him very well, but just like to be honest.
Hasn't really. I'm willing to give Joe an opportunity to prove himself because it's the first defense where he's had some players. Because when he was in Detroit, he coordinated that 0-16 team. I know that sounds weird, right? 0-16. And so then in Washington, he was a defensive coordinator. I don't know exactly what years, but he was a DC there. He kind of got let go. He goes out to be the defensive coordinator at with USC for a minute, then at the Rams, and now
was he DC with the Rams?
No,
he was an assistant coach, linebackers or something.
Now he leaves and goes to goes to Green Bay. This is the best unit that he's had talent-wise. So 35-0, no matter what, doesn't look well.
Or 3, but that's the point. What you just said, like he has not had a lot of success as DC. Now he gets to the Packers, who have a reliable defense last couple of years, a good defense.
Yeah, they got rid of Patton because Patton in the
killed.
playoffs put him in some bad situations and got sent packing.
I mean,
so I hope Joe B turns it around.
Yeah, but maybe, based on what we just talked about, Jay, if I'm a Packers fan, I'm looking and going, we gave up 35 points to the Saints. Not only did we not score, maybe that's not even the real problem here. Our defense got, Jameis Winston threw 5 touchdowns. Not a whole bunch of yards, but 5 touchdowns. I'd rather have it the opposite. Give up all the yards and be strong in the red zone. Don't give up those touchdowns.
It almost feels like anything that comes out of Aaron Rodgers' mouth. If you're a Packers fan, he's like, hey, just relax us, we'll get on to the next game. You're like, but I don't want to get on to the next game. Like, we just didn't come out here and lose. Like, we got our heads beat in.
Yeah.
It was embarrassing. It was an embarrassing loss. For the Packers and Rodgers.
There is a lot of pressure. I'm not ready to go past that Detroit game. Usually you see Detroit, okay, win, whatever. But the amount of importance on that Detroit game at home, coming off a loss like that, they don't even have Stafford anymore. And then you look at the schedule coming up. Key, you keep saying 1-3 would be terrible. 0-4 is like, that's realistic.
But I don't see them losing to Detroit, man. I just don't see it.
Me neither.
Yeah, I don't see Detroit's
Me
not
neither.
Detroit's not good, regardless to what they made of a game last week. They're not good.
But it's like
the
what you said
49ers
about,
took their foot off the gas in the last 2 quarters anyway. I mean, you felt that.
But it's what Key said yesterday to me. This is what it reminds me of the receiver. When that ball is thrown perfectly and you're wide open.
Yeah.
The receiver knows everyone's watching me. I'm wide open. I can't miss this ball. And Key took us through what's going through that receiver's mind, and those negative thoughts can undermine you. I'm just saying.
It can be a trap game, but I doubt it.
Right. All that is to say trap game.
I think 1-3 is more realistic.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.